Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So I've just got done watching The Electric State. This is directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. Joe Russo, of course, being the star of a weird video making fun of Martin Scorsese and his dog. This is the latest in their post-Marvel offerings, following on from The Grey Man, which I was really looking forward to watching to see Ryan Gosling do some action hero stuff. The film ended up being the most 6 out of 10 movie to ever 6 out of 10. But I had some level of interest in this because, looking at the artwork from the original book that this is based off, it looked really striking stuff. So it looked to be a return to the big scale spectacle that they brought to great success in Infinity War and Endgame. I had my fingers crossed, but do the Russos actually do the striking visuals of its source material justice? Let's find out. So the film follows Michelle, a teenage girl left orphaned after a long war between humans and robots. But while everybody in the world connects themselves to innovative new technology developed by billionaire Ethan Skater, Michelle prefers to stay connected to the real world, which soon changes after a robot shows up at her door, resembling the Saturday morning cartoon character that her and her brother Chris grew up loving. It turns out that the robot is being controlled by the mind of Chris, who she long assumed to be dead. And so, she teams up with soldier-turned-smuggler John Keats to journey through a dangerous exclusion zone to find the doctor that can lead them right to Chris. So, look, if you've seen the artwork in the book this is based off, you'll know how striking it is, and there's probably room here for a very interesting film to be made out of that. Unfortunately, the Netflix machine has gone and stripped it of any kind of soulful, intelligent storytelling that could have been achieved, instead turning this into a big-budget action-adventure quip fest. And not even a good one, not even the kind of stuff that the Russos have done well with Marvel. Instead, this is just the most dull, by-the-numbers road movie possible. Like, seriously, right from the opening moments with a long news broadcast exposition dump detailing the sort of war between humans and robots. Yeah, this rattles through every single cliche in the book. You've got the sort of, the orphan, her parents dead, but, and, the only person who can see what's really going on. And, you've also got the sort of, the roguish smuggler who also has a good heart beneath that. And, the tech billionaire is actually evil. All of these cliches and more, it just rattles through, and it means that, yes, you will easily be able to guess every direction that this plot goes, like, as soon as stuff is set up. It is thunderingly predictable, and it means that the whole journey should be interesting, should be full of really interesting character development, but instead it just drags on and on. It is so dull. It does not help that it does not dig any deeper than the surface. All of the dialogue is in some way plot exposition or just the most generic, broadly drawn, like, character dialogue possible. It means that the world building isn't interesting and the characters aren't interesting, so it makes it really, really hard to get invested, because this story and the characters are basically just vehicles to give and receive exposition and move the plot forward. There is really nothing going interesting on. Like, they really have stripped this of any kind of heart it could have had in trying to go for a big $320 million blockbuster. And it's not that there aren't ideas here at all. There's stuff in here, yes, big tech is bad, and, stuff about how, mankind's over-reliance on technology, by the way, is been done much, much better in other films. Most recently, Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. which honestly is a film I'd rather be watching than this, because, like, it's Wallace and Gromit and is actually good. But, these ideas are interesting, but they're really not given the depth needed to actually deliver any kind of thoughtful commentary at all. It also does not help that, by and large, I think everybody involved on screen is going through the motions. Like, Millie Bobby Brown, bless her heart, as Michelle, there are moments where you can see she is kind of trying in some of the emotional moments, but the generic dialogue she has just really gives her no chance to shine whatsoever. And again, it really shows that she does not watch movies because, yeah, because she could be doing really great stuff, but she is reducing herself to, and I hate to use this, because this is such an overused term, and I hate to be using it myself, but she's reducing herself to slop like this. Chris Pratt is in this as well, and oh boy, does he phone it in. This guy's character, John Keats, is basically just a one-note version of his whole Star-Lord shtick, but without any of the charm that James Gunn's writing brought. And he has this little dynamic with a robot voiced by Anthony Mackie, our current Captain America. Again, none of the jokes actually land, by the way. And there's a really talented cast rounding things out. You got Stanley Tucci giving a fairly charismatic turn as Ethan Skater. Giancarlo Esposito is somehow not a Gus Fring type, instead leaning into the more sort of physical threat of Sidewinder in Brave New World. Woody Harrelson does a fairly decent job as Mr. Peanut, who leads the sort of robot revolution, a sort of secret society of robots. And we also have the always lovable Ke Huy Quan as the doctor they are looking for. But while yes, some of these people do give decent enough performances, it really is far from the best work they've given. Quan in particular, if you want to see him be great, watch Everything Everywhere all at once. In fact, what's astounding about this is you could probably make 10 Everything Everywheres with the money they spent on this and still have plenty left over. How the fuck did this cost 320 million? Like that would be fine if there was spectacle to back this up, but there isn't. Yeah, the robot designs look fairly good. The CGI is impressive, and there's some of the production design for the sort of post-war world and the sort of 90s production design actually does look quite good. I will give it that. It is impressively done, but it is wasted on the most dull, flat color palette. Seriously, this goes for that washed out, desaturated look that pretty much every blockbuster has. And there's some really cheap looking green screens. And there's just no style to this thing whatsoever. The Russos are very much yes men. They'll do what they're told like good little boys and bring no sort of style or flair to it whatsoever. And it's just not interesting to look at. So, yeah, the action is sauceless as well. There should be some really entertaining set pieces here, like a big battle between robots and drones, and even a sort of bit in a abandoned amusement park with some scavenger robots. But the problem is, because there's no investment in the story, and because it's so sauceless, there's no sort of weight or tension to it whatsoever, and it just sort of, you just sort of passively watch it all go by. And that is a damn shame, because this could have been so good. And so, by the time the final act rolls round, yeah, the big payoffs don't land because you just don't care about any of it. And that is a shame. Overall, the Electric State has ideas and potential to explore them in thoughtful ways, but in turning it into a big 320 million action blockbuster, it strips it of its soul, and it means that, yeah, there's nothing to get invested in. Out of 10, the electric state gets a 3. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen the electric state? What did you think of it? Have you read the book this is based on? So if you have, let me know how bad an adaptation this is. And what's your favourite money laundering scheme in the history of cinema? Because this surely has to be up there. Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.